Go to the slide here. The slide, this slide, we work everything with the file handling and application. So in this chapter, we learn about the computer file, data hierarchy, the performing the file operation, control, break logic, merging file, master and the transaction file processing, and random access file. It's just some very basic definition about what is a computer file. It is a collection of data stored on permanent storage device. Right? It's not the same with when you store in the memory, right? The memory is that random only. And computer hard drive or whatever is DVD or USB drive or magnetic tape. And you have the file text. The file text that can be read by the text editor, right? And also we have a binary file. That about in the case of image or the music, it's not encoded as a text. Now, computer file, they have the file name, right? So we see you have the text file, we have the doc file, or you have the DY file from the Python file here. They have the file name and have the file extension here. Okay, and computer file has a specific creation time and modification. Modification date. And you see for every file you have the information for that one. You can check it. I think you have information about the date modified here, right? What's the size here? And the file size measured in byte. It can be byte, kilobyte, megabyte, or gigabyte, terabyte, or so petabyte, and so so okay, and in order to store in the file, you can store it in the directory or the folder here. I think about it. You put the file payroll.data.dat in the folder sample file, and again this folder under the logic folder here. Right? It is hierarchy of the directory. Okay, so basically here that is the example of the record, the code is a record here, right? So you want to store information about store information about every employee in the company, right? So we have the name, you have the first name, you have the last name, you have the payroll, you have date of year of birth, and what else? I don't know what is it here. Anyway, it doesn't matter, right? It just show you how you store the data into the file here, and they call the record. They call record here, right? So when performing the file operation, you data file in the program, right? The first one, you have to declare the file identifier. File identifier is declared. You can think about the file identifier the same with the variable, right? So basically, that you have to declare it before you use it. In the pseudocode, you have this one here. So think about this one here. You can think about this example here. You can send a car. You can send the C blood work to me, and I can have a look. Now you can think about this one here. You can think about this one. You have the employee data and the updated data here. They are variable, but they are not variable in the number format. They are not variable in the string format. They are not number in the character format. They are variable in the file format here, in the file processing format. Now see for this one here. When you have the input file, you declare this one, and you know that this one working with the putting data into the file, and you have the output file here. You know that this one is about the updating into the file. Sorry, this one is take it out, and this one take it in. Now, in order to open the file, you have to open employee data, and you see you have to specify here. You have to specify about the file you want to do here. And so see for this one here, see you declared that is a variable, right? That is the variable employee data. Now you assign this variable to the one you work with the file here. That's the process. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, you should understand that employee data and update data, they are the identifier to tell you which file you are working with. Which file you can see. If you look on the employee data, you know for sure you are working with the employee data.net, and you want to do it in the process of inputting file here. And you think about the same one here. So that is the case if you want to open the file, right? So in the case if you want to read the file and processing the data here, you work with the input. You work with the input, right? You see, in the case open the file, you open the file, and in the case you want to read in from the file and processing the data, you work with the input here. Now you have you think about this one here. If you go back to the record here, if you go back to the record, you see, for this record, for each of the specific employee, you have the record, you have the first name, you have the last name, and I think the pay rate here, right? So see, for this one, when you work with this one here, when I open this one, right? When I open the file here, I store it into identify employee here. I see input name from the employee data. That means I get it out the name from employee data. Right? I have the address here from employee data. I get it out from the employee data, and you have the pay rate. Make sense? Later on, I show you how to work with this one here. Right? So basically, you separate it by this step by step here. You take it out name, you take it out address, and take it out the pay rate of every employee here. Right? Now, reading of from the file and process the data, the programming language have, when you work in the real programming language, they have the different way of determining how much data to input. And in many languages, a delimiter such as comma or semicolon or tab character is a store between the data field. As you see, when you want to separate between the first name and last name and pay rate here. Okay, so think about this one here. In that case, you have the thing about in that database, you have 1, 2, 3, you have 4 employees, right? You have 4 employees. You have the name, and you see they separate between the name and address by the comma here. Right? And again, they separate it, they have the pay rate here. So see, when you want to access to the file, you access it by the record, by the row here. You can think about each row is a record, right? You access it here. Now, for each record, you take it out. What is the name? What is address? And you take it out. What's the pay rate here? One by one. All right. So when you're done with the first one, you move to the second record, and again, you take it out. What's the name? What is address? And what's the pay rate? I see. So how we store it in the data? You see, it's stored continuously, right? So see, name, address, pay rate for the first employee. Now the second one and the third one, and so on. Right? That's why we'll see when you read for every single one here, or you read for every single employee here, you need to read it out. What's the name? What's the address? And what's the pay rate? When you're done with the first one, you move to the second one. Right? You move to the second employee here, and so on. And you know that for that, it should prevent the work the loop here. Right? You do it one by one, and the process exactly the same. Take it out the name, take it out the address, and take it out the pay rate here. Now, when you're performing the file operation, you have the sum of the action here. The first one, sequential file. The program read all the record in this file from the beginning to the end for processing them one at a time. You do that one at a time here. And you have sorting, the process of placing the record in order by the value in the specific field or field. You can sort it in the ascending order, right? Or you can sort it in the descending order here. Okay. Now, writing data into the file. When you store data in the computer file or persistent storage device, you write it to the file. Right? So think about, you open the Word and you write it down here. Now, in the process of the writing into the file, is the output. You want to output that means you want to write it into the file here, right? You have to put the name, address, and the pay rate to what? Employee data. Employee data is a variable. You associate it with the employee data.net here. Right? Then think that this is a variable here. This is a variable. Right? But it's not the number variable. It's not the string variable. It is a variable associated with the file you are working with. Right? Okay, and you see when you're done with the file, when you're done with the processing, you can close the file here. I always close every file to open it. Right? So in order to open it later here. Now see about this one here. Sometimes you want to back up the file also, right? You want to back up the file. Back up the file. It is a process of copy cap in the case value need to be restored restored to the original here. Okay, and you have the backup copy is called the parent file, and the newly defined copy is the child file. Okay, so now think about this one here. Now you have the process here. You have the employee data file store information of all employee, including the name, address, and the parent. So remember that you have the database. You store information about every employee in your company. And for each component, for each employee, you have information of name, address, and the parent. And do it one by one. So now the program here read each employee record. Read each employee record from the input file under the employee parent. Each employee will receive the increase of 2 and write the update record to the output update file here. So now you see, to make it simple, you can think about this one. I think, yeah, this one here. This one is the original data. This one is original data. I store it into the employee data. That you can think about this one. Employee data here. Right? That here. That is the database, right? I see. For every employee, I have the name, I have address, and the parent here. Now I want to do the process to go to every single employee one by one. I take it down the parent. And for each of them, I just increase the pay rate by 2, right? So basically, see, I read the first one, I increase him by 12, and the second one, I increase by 10, and the 9, and 11, and so on. Okay, so how we do with this one? Basically, the process is very simple here. You can see, you go with one by one. I read it here. Now, see. Now, the first thing about this one here, right? The first one, you see, you have to define the variable here. Employee data, that means associate with the employee data, that original one. That's the original one, right? And the process here, the input file, that means you want to read, to accept into that and read it out, right? And now that is the updated one here. You see, updated one associate with the new file here. And the process of the updated one, you want to write into the new one. So you can think about this one. Input file, that means you want to accept and read it out. And the output file, that means you want to write into the new file. That's all. Huh? Make sense? Make sense or not? Okay, now you see, you have 2 variables to work in the file. You see, they are employee data and they are updated data. So what happened here? Employee data associate with the file here. Huh? And the updated data associate with the file here. Now, the action is not the same. For the employee data, you want to read it, to take it, to read it. For the output, for the updated data here, you want to write into that. That's all. You see the difference here. Inputs, that means you read it, accept and read it out one by one. And the output, you want to write into the file. That's all. That's the process of the declaration when we work the file here. So now, how we work here? The process is quite simple. The housekeeping, what is it? The housekeeping, that means open both of the file, and associate it with the 2 variables here, right? So now you need to get the first record of the first employee. That's why you put it here: name, address, and pay rate from what? From employee data. It is the original one, right? You cannot read it from this one. This one is where you want to write it. Now see. So we come back to this one. That is the original one. That is the one. I can think about this one here. I have one more about updated data also. Updated data. Right. So see, at the updated data at the beginning, I have nothing. I have nothing here. So see, the process of this one here, the process of this one, you see, for the housekeeping, it is the process of the reading the first record is the file. So after this step, you see, I have the name A, I have address the first street, I have the pay rate the 10. Now see, when you work with that is the housekeeping here, right? The housekeeping here. You go to the loop. You do one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one. If not and apart, this EOF here is and apart. So it's not and apart, just do it one by one, right? And again, the process is exactly the same for each iteration of the loop. What's the detail loop here? You do exactly the same. You just increase the pay rate by 2. I see. After the first one, I increase the third one by 12, right? So when I done with the first one here, I need to move to the next employee, right? I need to move to the next employee. That's why I need to read it out the name. Sorry, this one is the process of writing here. The process of writing. So I have to write it into the new part here. A and first sheet, and I update it here. Right? That what when I done with the first employee. Now, if I move to the news to the second one here, again, I have to read it from the second one here. That's the process one by one, and you do the loop. You see, you have the housekeeping, you have the body loop, and inside the body loop, you do it one by one, one by one, one by one. Make sense? Oh, see, that's why you see input, read it, output, write into it. That's all. That's the difference here. Input, accept into the original file. Read it, read it, read it. So when you have 10, increase it 10 by 2. That process increase the 10 by 2. Now you update it, you write it into the new file. So when you done it the first employee, you go back, you read the second one, update it, write to the second one here. Make sense? Okay, yes.
So what is like determining like when you go to the next line? Like, because in the detail loop, it's like output and then it goes directly.
Yeah. So that is a good question. So automatically when you read for one single employee, it automatically move to the second one. Yeah, it automatically move. So see the process here. Read the first one. Now see the process here. Read the next one. Read the next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Okay. Make sense?
So what if you only put like output name and address, but not the pay rate? Would it still go to the next one?
What happened here? Output name, address.
Yeah, if you don't read through all of them, will it
No, in that way you have inconsistent data. You only have to update all of the information about the name and address and the pay rate. And even see the name here, you keep the same. You do not do anything with the name. You see, the only thing you change is the pay rate only. Right? But again, you always have to the name and address and the pay rate here. Even that they are keep the same. They are keep the same. The only change here is the pay rate here. Right? Okay.
So if you forget to like output the name to update it, will it give you an error?
Sorry. Yes, you got the error. That's all. Right? So now how see process here, right? You see, it do it one by one, right? One by one here. Now you read the first one, update it, and write to the first one, right? And you move to the second one, and you do the same, and the process here. So see, when you go to the end of the part, you exit it, right? And exit here, you go to the finish, right? And in the case of finish, you have to make sure that you have to close the file here. Okay, so see, now see, that is everything about the program, right? See, you have to declare the two variables. These two variables associated to two files. And you see the difference here. It is input. That means you want to read into that. And accept it. Output, you want to write into the file. That's the difference here, right? You see, housekeeping is the process of the first employee, right? And the loop here, it do it one by one for every single employee, right? So when you done it, what you do with the finish here? Why is finish? Finish not here?
Yeah, bottom left.
Is it here, right? The finish, that's all. You just close the two file here, right? You close the employee data. That means you close the file here, you close here, close that one. Done with the process here. Make sense? Okay, so see, that the process here. You look on the flowchart, that is the flowchart here. And if you look into the serial code also, if you look on the serial code. Okay, that's the serial code here. They'll see. You declare the two variables associated to two files, right? And that's all. You have the housekeeping, you have the body loop, and have finish here. It only follows the same, right? You see, you have the housekeeping, you have loop, and you have finish here. Now, in the housekeeping, you see, open the two files, right? Open the two files. Associate this one to to the reading part here. Associate this one with the writing part. And this one very important here. User reads the first record of the first employee. In that case, you're able to go to the loop here. It's not end of the while. So see in the loop, the only change in the loop is that it change the pay rate here. You change the pay rate. That's all. And the name, address, they keep the same. So we see you just write it to the new one, right? To the new one. And the process here, you go back to the original one, read it to the next employee. The process do it again and again. Make sense? Yes.
Just a quick question. What happens if you don't close employee data and close updated data at the end of the program?
What happens if you do not close? The thing with the same with the part here. If you just open it here, if you keep open it here, right? So what happens if you think about you open the file in the drive, right? And you do not close it, and you go to the home and you update it. You do not have the action to modify on that. You have no authorization to modify that one. Actually, you have to go on another copy. I think about if you go to the if you work with a Google Drive desktop, right? You open the file, and you know that when you work with Google Drive, you can do it from anywhere, right? And you open the file and you let it be. You do not close it. When you go home, you want to modify it. You have no way to do that. You have to generate. You have to do with the copy version, huh? So that's why whenever you want to do it properly, you have to make sure you have to close the file. Make sense? Okay. Now, the other option you can do it is a control break logic here. Control break is a temporary. Now you see that is a temporary the tool in the logic program. Control break program use a change in the value to initiate a special action or processing. Control break reports a group of similar data together. That is very important here, right? And input record must be in there. Now, in order to do with the control, control break, make sure that the input record here they must be in the sequential order. So think about if you sort it in the ascending or descending order, right? In that case, you can do with the control break. If you do it randomly, sort randomly, you can do it with the control break here. Now it's by about definition, but I think it should be better. You will go with a specific program. Right? So think. You have the data of the all employee here, right? You have the name, city, and state here. Now you see, they sort it in the order. They sort it in the order of the state already. Right? That's why it only work with the sequential order only when you work with the control break. Otherwise, it cannot work. So you see, they already sort it in the order of state from the. I think it is a descending order, right? Descending order. Here, so see. Now how it work here? For control break, it read it same state. Read it same state, read it same state, read it not on the same state anymore. Right? So when it's not on the state, you stop it and you print it out. You have 3 employees from the Alabama here. Right? That's all. That's the control break. Control break. Keep doing it if they are the same. Keep counting it. Keep counting it. If they are not the same, you stop it and print it out. You do some action here. Right? Make sense? And now we do it again for the Alaska here. Now from the second one. Now see. When you're done with Alabama here, you have to reset the counter again to 0. Right? Otherwise, keep increasing here, right? So you have to reset the counter here to 0. Now do the second one. First guys, the second guy, the third guy, the fourth guy, the fourth guy. Stop it, print it out. 4 guys from the Alaska, and so on. Make sense? Okay. So see, do here. The program here, right? Print it out. Count for Alabama. Count for Alaska and the count for Oregon. But you see, in order to do that, the process always the same. You have to maintain the accumulator. For sure. See, for every time, starting from 0. Keep counting it. 1, 2, 3. Stop it, print it out 3. Now, if you want to do this one, you have to reset it to 0. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, that is something you have to remember when work is debugging is aside. You have to maintain accumulator, and for every time you have to reset it to 0 here if you move to the new one, right? Make sense? Okay. And you have many examples of the control break report here. Employee list in the order by department. I think about sorting about the department, IT department or HR department, right? Or own book, or for the sale in bookstore list by order categories and that the author or whatever it is, or all items sold in the order by date of the sale or whatever. You have many examples. Now, so how we work? So how we work with the control break logic here? You have single level of control break. It is the tool based on the value of a single variable. Right? You can use the control break field to hold the private value. Okay, this is also very important concept. You have to something to hold the private value. So think about if you now think about this one here. If you want to count for how many employees under Alabama, right? You only have to hold. You only have to something to hold the value of Alabama here. Now, next step, check if Alabama not, check Alabama not, right? That's why you only have to hold the value for this one. Now, think about this one here. Now, if you look on the program, it's the same. It's the process here. I have the file here. I have the file here, right? I store all the employee, and they already sort in the order of the step. Remember, if you want to work with the control break, the data must be in the sequential order, or already set it in the ascending or descending, right? So now see a process here. The process work exactly the same, right? You work exactly the same. Now, see if you look on this one here. What's the get ready here? You see, I open the file here. I open the file for this one here. That is the in file. I have the in file. I have the client by state. The name of the file is the client by state here. Okay. And see, this one here. I declare the variable in file. And the process is this one. This one I just need to do about the reading and print it out. I don't have any action about writing. That's why I do not have the output file here. You see, for this one, I just read it and print it out how many employees. I have no action to modify the file here. That's why I do not have the output here. Make sense? Now see, the file here, you see, I associate with the text file, this one here. The action is always the same. Get ready. Read the first employee. That's all. The action is always the same. Read the first employee. Now see, I read it. Amberson, Birmingham, Alabama here. So see what happened here. You have the variable, very important variable here. You have to see that is the old state here. That is the old state. In order to compare it the same or not. Right? So see what happened with this program here. Now see, I have the string here, old state here. And at the beginning, I have the count number 0 here. Now I do it here. Now see what happened when I read into the first employee here, right? I assign the old state to the state here. That means for this step, I have the old state is Alabama here. Make sense? Okay. Now see, I move to the second one. I check if state equal to old state or not. I increase by 1. Right? If state equal to old state or not, I increase by 1. See, if state not equal to old state, I just print it out, and I reset the new counter. Also, I have to change the old state to the Alaska. Okay, now see how it works here. Now I want to show it one by one. I see that is the beginning here. What happened here? What happened? I have the count number 0. That's the first step. I read it from the first employee here. So what happened here? Old state equal to Alabama. Because see, I have the process here. Old state equal to state. State, what is it? State is Alabama, right? So see, after this step, I have old state equal to Alabama here. Now I done with this one. I have to increase. Now I think I have to increase the counter by 1. I think, yeah. Old state is Alabama here, right? So now I done with this one. Now see, I done with the first one, right? That's why I increase the counter by 1. I increase the counter by 1. I have the option here. I see. I have the option here. I have increased the counter by 1 here. Okay. Now what happened when I done with the first one? I move to the second one, right? When I move to the second one, I read the second one here. David, Birmingham, Alabama. I check it again. I check it again here. Where is it here? You see, here, if state equal to the old state, not equal, you go to control break. Otherwise, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it here. So you see, so you see, if old state keeps the same, I have to increase the counter. I have to increase. Why? Now you see, if the old state stays the same, right? I have to increase the counter here. Okay, for this one here, I have to increase the counter by 2. I increase the counter by 2. Okay, now I reach the third one. Okay, the process do the same. I reach the third one. I reach the Lawrence and Monterey and Alabama here. So after the third one, I have the counter number 3 here. But when I move to the fourth one, the state here is not equal to the old state. So when it's not equal to old state, you go to the control break here. What is the control break? Control break, you print it out. Count for old state. What's the old state? Alabama. How many? 3. That's all. Now see, when you're done with Alabama, what I have to do? Reset the counter to 0. Reset the counter 0. And one more thing, you have to change the old state to the new one here, Alaska. Make sense? Okay, you got it or not? Okay, that's all. That's the process here. So see, keep doing it, keep doing it. If the same, increase the counter. If not the same, stop. Print it out the counter, print it out the state, and reset the count to 0, and assign the old state to the new one here. Okay, that's all. Okay, so I expect that you when you work with a control break here, you have to understand both of the flow chart and pseudocode logic here. Because again, in the debugging exercise, you have to work with this one. You have to work with the control break here. I think we should take a short break and then come back. Break for 5 minutes. Now we move to another application when working with file. It is where you want to merge in the sequential file here. Merging a file is the process of the combining 2 or more files while maintaining the sequential order of the record. So think about this one here. Again, if you work with the merging file, again, the first thing is that both of the files already sorted in the order of the sequential order. It can be ascending or descending. Right? That's the first step. You have to make sure that both of the files sort in the order of the descending or ascending here. Now, you have some example. You have the file of the current employee in the ID number order. Think about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? And you have the newly hired employer in the ID number order, or you have the file manufacturer in the north side, and you have another one in the south side, and you want to combine them together. Now, 2 conditions to require for the merging the file. The first one, each file has the same record layout. That means record layout. That means if you store the name, address, and period, the second one also has to follow the same layout. The name and address and the period. They must be on the same format. They must be on the same layout. The second one, they always have to sort it in the same order based on the same thing. Right? Now think about this one. Right? Now I don't want to go into detail about this one, but you see, it should be better. I go to the specific example here. See, for this one, I have 2 files. The first one is the East Coast file, and the second one is the West Coast file here. And for each of the file, I have the name, I have a balance. I have the name and balance. Now you see, they have the first thing here. You see, now the first thing, they must be on the same record layout. You see, they have the same record layout with the name and the balance. Name and balance here. That's the first thing. The second thing here is that must be sorted in the order already. Now see, I sorted it on the order for the descending name here. Also, descending name. Huh? Makes sense. Now, you have to meet the two conditions. They have the same layout. That's the first thing. The second thing, they have to sort it in the same order. Ascending order for the name, ascending order for the name. Right? So now, if they will meet the two conditions, you can merge them together. Right? So how we merge them together? You have to accept, you have to read it from the first file, you have to read it from the second file, right? And you have to write it into the new file. Right? So basically, you need three variables for this one. You need three variables this one: input, and output here. Make sense? Okay. Now see. So at the end of the process here, I check it. I pull the first one. I move to the second one. Brown here. First one. Now this guy before this guy. So that's why I put a check here. A, B, C, D, E, F here. Right? That's that process here. Got it? Now, okay, that's the process. Now, how we do it here? So, see how we do with this one here. Right? Yeah, when you want to merge in the sequential file, you have the mainline logic similar to other file processing program. Right? But the only difference here, you handling for the two files. You need to read it into the two files. Right? Okay. Now, with the two input file, see, you need it to read from the two files. That's why you need the two input file. You must determine when both of the files are at the end of the file. So you keep doing it. When both of the files is at the end of the file, you stop the process. But only one of them is you have to keep doing it. Okay. You only stop the process when both of them at the end of file here. And you have to define a flag variable to indicate when both of the files are end of the file. That is when process you stop process here. And also you have to must define two input files and read one record from each input file. Now, how we do with this one here? Now, this pricing book here. Now, think about this one. Think about this one. I have two original files here. Right? And I want to merge it into the new one here. Okay. Now see. You see, I need to read it into files. That's why I need the two input here. And each file here associate with where my getData not here. GetData is not here. Okay. So see, each file here associate with the file here, right? And this variable here associated with the white file here. Right? And for the new one here, it's a merge file. It's associated with the new one. At the beginning, I have nothing. At the beginning. Right? So now the process here. What's the? I have to maintain the flag. I have to maintain flag when both of the file is not end of the file. I have to keep doing it. Right? And if both of the file at the end of the file, I stop it here. Now. That's the process. So see, I move to the second one here. How it work here, right? So here, getData here. See, getData associate with this one, and associate with this one. But see, what happened here now? I have to read one by one. Now I read the each. What I have? Able 100. I have to read the west. What is it? I have chain and 200 here. Now I have to check n. What is check n? Check n here. If the n of file for the east or not, if the n of file for the west or not, when both of them end of file, I have the R both at the end. It's the yes here. It's a flag here. When both of the file come to the end of the file. So see. Now in the case now see whenever you read the is here, I read it for every single record, right? And also for every time I read it, I have to decide if it's end of the file or not. If it's end of the file or not. Make sense? Yeah. Every time I read it, end the file or not. Every time I read it, end the file or not. And now every time I have to compare, I have to check if it's end of file for both of them or not. If both of them end the file, I stop the process. Okay. Now how it work here? Now see how it works here. Now see, I have to get that D, read this one here, right? I will check here. So see, every time I read, I take a record and I check it and a file or not. Right? I check and a file or not. Right? See, read it here. I set it, take it out. Right? Check and a file or not. It, yes, set the flag here. Right? Yes, this one, read every single record here, and it and a file set the record here. Check and when both of them and a file, right? If then both of them yes. Right? So that's the process to determine when you stop the process. That's all. Make sense? Okay. Now, so how it works here? That's the thing. Every time you read every single record from each file, you read a single record from the each balance, and you read a single record from West balance. So when you read one record from the east and one record from the west, you have to compare them together in order to sort it in the order, right? You have to compare them together. Right? So see, if the east name less than the west name, you know that A less than B, right? Because each of them they have ASCII code for that, right? So basically for A here, for A you have the ASCII code of the 65, and the B you have the 60 code of 66, and so on. Right? So remember that A less than B, B less than C, C less than D, and so on. Right? So now see, every time you take it out one record from the east and one record from west, you have to compare them together. If east less than west, you have to write it out here. Now, if it is less than west, you have to write it into the new file here. Right? Because you know that you sort in order of the ABC here, right? So see, now what happened here? I read this one. Now so see, its name here I have able. I read this one. Its name here I have Chen. Make sense? Now I compare it. Less than able less than Chen, right? So I know for sure I have to copy this one. I move to this one. So I have to put here able and 100 here. Now see, every time I done with this one, when I'm done with the it here, I have to read for the next one. I have to move to the next one on the same file. Make sense? I have to do it on the same file. Now, okay, the second iteration, I have to compare them. I have to compare this one and this one here. Again, brown less than. That's why I put it brown here. And I put it the 50 here. Now, done with this one. Again, I have to read it to the third one. This one here, D greater than. D greater than. So that's why I have to go with this one. I have to update it here. Chain here. I have to read it chain here. 200 here. Now I move to the second record in the west here. Again, I compare it here. For this one and this one, which one greater than this one? And that's the process here. Make sense? I think it's very straightforward with this one here, right? Very straightforward. Now see, you can do it here, step by step. Read the first one here. See, read the first one. Read the first one for the west here. Compare them together, right? Compare them together. This one less than. That is correct. That's why you write here, right? And move to the second one of the third one here. Brown here, right? Now compare. Less than. Do the same. Now move to the third one. Go ahead T here. Right? Greater than. That's why I have to write chain here. And when that is chain, I move to the Edgar here. Right? Oh, that's so actually too many processes. But anyway, I hope you understand the process. Right? Okay, it's very simple. Okay, one more thing I want to do. Again, one more thing I want to do. I expect you that you have to understand the process in the flowchart here, and I expect you understand the process in the pseudocode here, because you do it in the debugging exercise. So now you do everything about what is it? The first thing about file operation in the query will be done one by one, and then change the private for one single one here. And also we know about the process of the control break, right? The control break, and you understand the process of the merging the sequential file here. Now the third one, I think the fourth one. The fourth one is to work with the master and transaction file processing. Okay, and you have the sum related file, have the master transaction relationship, you have the master file, how the complete and relatively permanent data. For transaction file, it's a contain temporary data to be used to update the master file, right? And when you have to update the master file, you change to the value in this field based on the transaction. Now think about this one. Okay, I think about what is it? Now, how the process of updating here, you have to change information in the master file, and you will copy the master file and change the new version. All right. Now think about this one here. Now to make it simple, this is a master file. I keep every customer. I keep every customer, right? And each of them they have the name. And at the beginning here, I have the master total. It's a balance. It's a balance here, right? Now for each customer, some of them they might do some transaction during the day. Right? I have to do some transaction during the day. So think not all of them. Think about this one here. Customer number 2, customer number 3, and customer number 6 and 8. They do some transaction here. So at the end of the day, I have to update into the master total here. I have to update into the master file here. So getting about this one's the master file, and this one is a transaction file. And so see, at the end of the day, you can think about this one here. I have to update it. I have update here. Now look it up. What is the customer number 2? He do transaction with how many? 200 here. So I have to minus him, right? So now I see number 2. I have the B, and he only have 800 left in the balance. Make sense? Now we do the same. At number 3, customer number 3, it's a C here, 3, and he named C at the beginning. He had a balance 100, and for today he spent for the 150. So that means he only have 850 left. Make sense? And do the same. You see, that is a complete file. That is complete file. The complete data here. This one is only transaction file, a temporary only. So when you update it, you can delete it here. Make sense? Okay. So how we do with this one? The process of this one here. How we do with this one? Again, this one you need to read in the 2 files, master file and transaction file. Right? That's why you see you have 2 input here. You have 2 input here. You have 2 input here. You need to write into the updated file. That's why you have 1 output here. Right? And you associate it here. Master file. Where's I think I go later with the housekeeping here. But the process do the same. The process do the same. You keep doing it until both of the file you come to the end of the file. That's all. Both of the file come to the end of the file. So see how it works here. How it works with the housekeeping here, right? So see how it works with housekeeping. Work exactly the same with the other one. Open the file, and assign it to the variable master file, transfer file, and update the file here. Read 1 record from master. Read 1 record from transaction. Every time you read it, you have to check if end the file or not. If end the file or not. It follows exactly the same in the case you merge the file here. Now, you only stop the process when both of the flag to the yes here. Put the flag to the yes here. Sorry, I have change. So we see the process exactly the same, right? You have to accept both of the files. Every time you read record 1 by 1, and every time if you read the record from that, you have to check if the end of the file or not. And keep doing it until both of the file will go to the end of file here. Make sense? Follow exactly the same when you merge the file here, right? So now see, every time here, what happened here? What happened with this one here? Now you see, that is about the flow chart, and this about the pseudocode. And again, I expect that you understand the process in both of the flow chart and the pseudocode here. Now, what happened here? Now, see, every time you read one record from the master and you read one record from transaction here, you have to do the action here. You have to do the action. You compare if the transaction customer number. Sorry. Why? You have the action here to compare. To compare if transaction customer number equal to master customer or not. If they are equal, that means you know for sure you have to update it. Right? You have to update it here. So think about this one here. Now, in the case they are not equal, you have the two possibility here, right? So in the case transaction greater than master here. In the transaction greater than master, that means this guy have no transaction. You just copy the data and write it exactly the same in the new one. Right? So think about the number one here. He have no transaction. So you just write down here 1, 8, and 1000 here. He have no transaction. Right? Keep here. The process here. Keep it exactly the same. Right? Make sense? Okay. Now in the other case here, you have if the transaction here less than master here. Now think about if you have the what is it? Transaction number, but you have the transaction number. Think about you have starting from number 1 here, but you have the transaction number for customer name number 0. That is invalid here, right? Invalid. You have no customer with the number 0 here. That's why you print down no master record for the transaction number. Right? So now see, after you're done with the first one, you move to the next record here. Right? And if you use this one, you move to the transaction here. Now, if they are matching together, you see, you have to move it to the new one here. Right? At the same time, you have to move to the new master and you have to move it to the new transaction. Make sense? Now, I can see. I can show you one by one here. And show you one by one process here. Now, the first step, read it down for transaction. Read it out for transaction. Sorry, read it out for master. Read it out for transaction. Now you see, customer number transaction number 2 here, right? Number 2 here, not equal, so no here. Huh? No here. So what happened here? Transaction customer number 2 greater than number 1. I see. See this one here. Right now, you can see what's this one. Customer number transaction here, number 2, right? And master customer number 1. They are not equal, so no, not work with this one. Right? You move to this one. Transaction number 2 greater than number 1. So see, you know for sure that the number 1 here, he had no transaction. Right? That's why you just copy him and put it here. 1000. Right? Now see, after you done that, you move to the read master. That means you move to the second one here. Huh? So when you move to the second one, what happened here? When you move to the second one, what happened here? Now, when you move to the second one, this one matching with this one. Huh? So what see? When they're matching together, master total equal to master. Oh, this one add them up together, not the deduct. Sorry for that. So basically, that he's earning, not he's spending. So basically, you see, when matching together, this guy matching with this guy, you see, this guy matching with this guy here, right? So you said here, what happened? You just add it up together. You have 1200 here. Name the same. Huh? Name master name here the same, and master total here. So you put it here. Number 2, B, and 1200 here, and so on. Huh? Make sense? Hello? Any question, guys?
No questions.
Okay. So that's the process. You see, just keep doing it, and when you only terminate the process when you reach both of the master and the transaction at the end of the line. Right? Now, okay, so I think that That is about for the router. That router we have to trim out some of my. So that is the case you work with a file in the router here. So I think that in one work with the router is the file you have. It's a final exam. I will give you some of the work with the router in the router here. Okay, now think about I have program here, very simple program. I input the program in the router here. So in the case of when work the file in the router, something you have to remember that's one here. You have to use the core function here. I move the core function. You see that's the core function. Is that you redirect output. That means you want to open the new file. The output here. You want to write it into the new file. That's why you have the output here. You have the output here. Redirect the output. That means you want to open the file and you want to write it. Okay. But by the default here, you see, you already have the file name here. You do not have the directory. So by the default, if you do not specify the directory, it will save the file on the same directory with the router file you are running here. I think about in the running, I'm running from the C and my file here, right? My file. So the sample txt console it only automatically generate under the same folder with my router file, right? And if you want to specify it, I have to put it the specific directory, the long part of this one. Right? To make it simple, I want to keep it on the same directory here. So now how process with this one here. Now see, this program here, I get the employee name from user, right? And I get the salary for each of them. Talking about what is your name? I put he said that and his pay rate here. I think the salary or pay rate already is a 10, and B is a 20, and C is a 15, and keep doing it until he enters the star here to the enter name. Right? So that's why the process is the same. I have the loop. That is a housekeeping or from input here in order to go to the loop here. Right? Initiate the employee name. Check the condition. If name equals to star, exit it. If yes, keep doing it. If not, yeah, keep doing it. Right? Put the name and get the salary and put salary here. So now what the process is this one here. You see the process with this program. Now see process is when I put the name here. Normally, if I do not work with the file, it will print now on the screen, right? What's the name? And also for the salary also, it print it out on the screen. But when work the file, when you put here, actually it is an action. It is an action of writing name into the file, writing the salary into the file. It not show it up on the screen here, right? So now see, and after you're done with the file, you have to close the file, and it's a process. It's a redirect output and put a note here. That means it's a process of close the file. Right? So now see, let me show you here with the program. Right? Let me show you. I save this one into the file. Right? So see, I put it into the desktop and router program as a directory, right? So I save it here. Now I run it. What's the name? Pirate 10. Right? What's the name? B. Pirate 20. What's the name? C. Pirate 15. I want to terminate it. I put a star here. Right? So see, I do not have anything in the screen here. The process of the put here is actually it's a process it right into the my text file. Right? So I can open the text file here where I store it in the desktop, right? And creating file here. What's the name of the file? Sample. Okay. So yeah, this one. You see, I start here. Name A, pirate 10. Name B, pirate 20, then C, pirate 15. Right? So it works after it works one by one. For every for every data you saw is stored in the separate row here, right? Name, pirate, name, pirate, name, pirate here. Make sense? Okay, it's very straightforward here when we want to store it here. Name, pirate, name, pirate, name, pirate. Okay. Now that's the process of writing. So this is process of getting input from the user and writing it into the file. Now, if somehow you want to store it permanently, right? And somehow you want to access into that, and you take it out. And I want to print it out. Hey, what is the name of the first employee, and what is the pirate of the first employee? What is the name of the second employee, and what's the rest of the second employee? I can do it. Right? I can do it by the process of the accessing it and read it out. This one is writing process, but the process is a reading here. So now, in order to do the process of the reading, you have that is the process of creating data, right? So now, if you want to accessing and display data, you have the redirect input here. Remember that redirect input, that is when you want to access into the file and take it out. But in the other one here, you see this one here, right? This one here, this one, you have the redirect output. Remember, redirect output is the process of writing data into the file, and redirecting out input, you open the file and read it out the data. Make sense? Now see, I have another one here. So see, this is a case of a file here. So how we do the same? I accept into the file, the same name here, right? The file is a sample.txt, it's a file I just generated here, right? And now see, I want to do it. I don't know how many employees I have. I do not know, right? I do not know. That's why I maintain the loop here. End of input here. End of input is automatically keep doing it until end of the input, end of the file, sorry. Right? I don't know. It might be the 2 employee or 10 or 15. I don't know. Keep doing it until end of the file here. So see, for every time I get it out, what's the name? I get it out the salary. I print it out, right? And now if I get it out, right? I store it in the name. I store it in the sorry. I just print it out. What's the name of the salary key, right? You see, for every iteration, you keep doing it until the end of the process. Right? So now see, in order to do that, I have to save this file on the same directory. I just say like right? So now I run it. See, check it out. Check it out here. A 10, B 20, and C. Make sense? Okay, that's process. So yeah, I expect that in you know how to process to write data into the file and how to access the file and pull down the data. And of course, when you have the data, you can do anything with the processing. You can sum it up together. You can find out what's the average. You can find out what the minimum or maximum, whatever. And again, this one here. Think about this one. If you want to do it, all right, you can do it, right? So we see if you want to do it right here, you have to maintain. About the cover. I think about stop it here, and I do my counter. Set it to the beginning count 1, and I can set it here and name put the name count. So I do this one. Okay. Do the same. This one I will find here. Every time I have to cover one. Now, place this one. Okay. Down here. Okay, now think about this one. You store it into the array, right? So later on, you can access in the array. You can do anything with the array. You can sort it in the order, or you find out what is the maximum, what minimum, find out what the total. Rồi ra đi. Okay, I think we should do that. I think we should do that this size. Silent. Oh, so I think I have to change. Not the same. Okay. Okay, so see, I already stored here, right? I stored its name here. I saw its salary here, right? And also I stored the name in the array here. Okay, that was it. Well, I do not have. Right, what's that? Okay, so you see, I store. Make sense? So you see that process. You get to the input from the user, stored into the file, and later on you can open the file, take out the data, and put it in the array. And of course, you can do anything with the array. You know, so far you have many applications with the array, right? Okay. Any question for this one? And I expected that you know how to work with the part here, because in the final exam I give you some of the work with the part here. So, any question, guys? Any question? So, if no question, yeah.
It's kind of about the final exam thing, with the file. Is the file on like the canvas, or how do we get the file that we're using?
The file, it's up to you. It depends on where you work with the Raptor file. Right? If you open from here, it's stored in the computer here. If you work from home, it's stored in your home computer.
So do we make the file ourselves? Or,
Yes, they generate the file on the same directory by the default. Or you can specify the directory. And when you submit both of the Raptor file and the text file.
So what are we putting in the text file? Is it like the discounts and stuff? Is that what?
Sorry, say again.
So what are we putting in the text file for the input? I've already looked at the final exam. Like you said, you what, supply the quantity limit to the discount. Is that
No,
what?
Z is the final product, not the final exam.
It's different from the final project.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's why.
It's separate.
Wait, is it the final?
It's the final project, and then next weekend you have the final.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought they were the same thing.
No.
Okay, I was gonna say, I didn't use a file in my thing we're doing now.
Yeah.
Got a little spooked.
It's like, oh no, I have to redo all of it.
Yeah, I was really scared. Yeah, I had to put files in a thing already.
John, are you here? John, are you here? Jalen, are you here?
I'm here.
Quentin, are you here? Eric, are you here? Joe, are you here? Devin, are you here? Lindsay, are you here?
Oh, I'm so sorry. My Zoom it froze up for a bit. I'm here. It's Eric.
Who are you?
Eric.
Michael, are you here? Michael. Matt, are you here? Mallory, sorry. Mary, are you here? Bill, are you here? Are you here? Cyrus, are you here? Cyrus, are you here? Max, are you here? Hi, Max. John, are you here? Paul, are you here?
Here.
Daniel, are you here? Parker, are you here? Carl, are you here?
I'm here.
Alex, are you here? Alex,
Here.
you here? Tucker, are you here? Tucker, look here, Markov. Okay, so again, my suggestion, you come back to me on Thursday. You raise any question for the homework or final project also, right? And okay, that's all. I think I see you guys on Thursday.